It's Kristen Atchison again. We're continuing our discussion of factorial designs. We're going to be talking about how factorial designs can be used with between measures, within measures, and also what a mixed design is. So in a study that's looking at manipulating both interrogator expectation, we're looking at a study that has interrogators and suspect status. And we had the suspect was actually guilty, and the interrogator expected them to be guilty. So participants in that cell, interrogators were led to believe that the suspect was guilty and the suspect actually committed the crime. So we have actual guilt combined with the interrogator expectation of that. And we have 10 participants in that study. In the next one, we have the interrogators were led to believe the suspect was innocent and the suspect actually committed the crime. Well, this is a between subjects design, so we have 10 different people in that study than we had in this condition than we had in the previous condition, an additional 10. The suspect status of actual innocence and guilty interrogator expectation, interrogators were led to believe the suspect was guilty and the suspect did not commit the crime. There was an additional 10. And our final cell, looking at interrogator expectation of innocence combined with the suspect's status of innocence. The interrogators were led to believe the suspect was innocent and the suspect did not commit the crime. We have an additional 10. Here we have 40 participants because both of these independent variables are between subjects factors. They're also both manipulated factors. And so in this example, participants were randomly assigned to each condition. We'll have 10 people randomly assigned to actual guilt, guilty. We'll have 10 people randomly assigned to actual guilt, innocence. We'll have 10 people randomly assigned to actual innocence, guilty, and we'll have 10 people randomly assigned to actual innocence, innocent, which gives us a total N of 40, because in this example, we're dealing with a between subjects design. Now we can do factorial designs with within subjects, and we can still do the manipulated variables. And we can even do that with subject variables as well, but this example is with manipulated variables. So we have the same participants for each cell of the design. So in this study, we have both the temperature of the room was manipulated and the noise level of the room was manipulated. And we looked at the same people in each of these different situations. So participants were asked to recall words in a quiet, warm room. Participants were asked to recall words in a quiet, cool room. We look at the noise level of loud. Participants were asked to recall words in a loud, warm room, and participants were asked to recall words in a loud, cool room. What's interesting here is that we will have the same 10 people in each one of these conditions. So the same 10 people are in all of these. This is a within subjects design where both factors are within subjects. We can also have what we call a mixed design. A mixed design mixes two research designs. So we can have temperature, a within subject variable, and caffeine, a between subjects variable. So in this study, we'll have participants were administered 200 milligrams of caffeine and asked to recall words in a warm room. We'll have participants administered 200 milligrams of caffeine and asked to recall words in a cool room. We'll have participants administered 400 milligrams of caffeine and asked to recall words in a warm room, and we'll have participants administer 400 milligrams of caffeine and we're asked to recall words in a cool room. What's different here is this is a mixed design. So we're going to have repeated measures across the within subjects variable of temperature, but we're going to have between subjects or independent groups measures across caffeine. What that looks like is if we had 10 participants in this condition, the warm 200 milligram condition, those same 10 participants will also participate in the cool condition. They still only have 200 milligrams of caffeine, but we've looked at them in both warm and cool conditions. For caffeine, we have an additional 10 people because that's a between subjects factor. So 10 different people get 400 milligrams of caffeine, but we look at them in both the warm room and the cold room. So for this example, we'll have 20 participants because we have the mix of the two.